I am Erin, the Two Martini Stitcher, both here on YouTube and on Instagram, and this is my crafty channel that is mostly cross stitch and a little bit of knitting. Yeah, I did bring my knitting over. For a second there, couldn't remember if I had. It is Tuesday, October 27th. Is that right? Yep, 27th. And I'm a day later than normal filming my weekly cross stitch happy hour. Sometimes it's happy hour. Today it's a little early in the day for happy hour, so I just have my trusty mug of tea. I'm very excited because I've been drinking lots of tea as of late, and I pinged our good friend Janet at Janet Jabber because I remembered that last year during Flossmas, which if you're new to Flosstube, in December, some Flosstubers film every day, and we call it Flossmas. Film a little crafty chat every day in December, and so that's what Flossmas is. I am going to be participating this year. Gonna give it a go to film every day, but I remembered that last year when Janet was filming her Flossmas, she had a tea advent calendar that she opened every day and showed us what the tea was from the day. So I pinged her and asked her for some recommendations for a tea advent calendar, and I ordered one. Hang on, I'm gonna mute all of my notifications. I forgot to do that before I started. So tea today, and during Flossmas, we're gonna have a fun tea advent calendar. Advent calendars are starting to roll in and be shipped, and I am so excited. Is it December 1st yet? No, but it is the end of October, which is crazy to me. So we'll talk plans. I feel like I have a lot of stuff to share this week, so hopefully you have a beverage and can settle in, and we'll just talk all things stitchy. I hope everybody had a great week. I had an amazing week last week. Last week, so many fun things happened. I ended up not filming yesterday because yesterday was not a good day. I have, it's not an exciting story. I have a degenerative eye condition and had a little bit of a flare up yesterday, so I couldn't see out of my left eye yesterday, which led to quite a headache and not a great day. So, but luckily the medicine that I put in it, when I have these flare-ups, it either really helps and I can get back to normal quickly, or it doesn't and it takes a while to resolve. But I'm feeling much better, or seeing much better. Still not great, but much better today. So we're back today. So yesterday was a bummer day, but the week before, amazing. So first exciting news thing that happened over the last week was thanks, I think, in part to all of you who are so supportive and left the most wonderful comments on my rep video, my rep search video for the Black Needle Society. I was chosen as one of their reps. I died, guys. I almost did not post that video. I filmed it and then I sat on it for almost 2 days and almost didn't post it because I just thought there were so many great people going out for it that I just didn't even think that it was worth it. But a couple friends really encouraged me to post it, and I am so excited to rep for the Black Needle Society. Talking about Advent boxes, I had, when they went up for pre-order a while ago, purchased the Black Needle Society, I think it's called the Nice List, their 25-day box, like their big 25-day box. So that will be coming, and I will be opening that during Flossmas. Right now, they're in the middle of their trick-or-treat box, which I, stupid me, did not buy. I did get, I think the box is still sitting here. I did get the Fall Into Stitching box. And I think that's why I thought, oh, I'm getting the fall box. I don't need the trick-or-treat box. I will never make that mistake again. So I do have an unboxing video. If I figure out how to put the little thing up there to link you to that video, I will. I don't know that I'm that fancy or that my channel is that fancy that I can do that, but we'll see. There is an unboxing on that box, and there's quite a few people on Instagram that are unboxing the trick or treat box from Black Needle Society. So I am now a rep. What does that mean for you all? It means you get a coupon code. Woo woo! I am all about, you all know that I don't even need to rep for something to tell you all when I love a product, but it's even better when I can give you a little discount. So the discount code is not good for, I will put Black Needle Society, their website, I will link them below in the shopping info section, and we'll talk about show notes here in just a second. I'll link them below. So my code is only good for, it's not good for like their specialty boxes, but starting in January, they're going to have a bi-monthly subscription. So I had already signed up for it. So you get a box every other month starting in January. So my code, which is Martini5, all the reps have agreed that I have the best code, Martini5. I don't know that they all agreed. I said I did. That is good for a discount on your first month-to-month subscription. So go check them out because their boxes are to die for. And after seeing everybody open that trick-or-treat box, I won't miss one. Won't miss one. Serious FOMO. So sad I passed on it. Okay. Show notes, since I mentioned linking something below. Last week we had talked a little bit about, I told you I'd put together a spreadsheet, all of my whips into a spreadsheet with all the information, and ask for your feelings about having that in the show notes instead of me writing out all of the whip info. And you all were very, very supportive of it. So many people said that they do use the show notes for links to things like shopping things, shopping type things, and other floss tubers, and those will always be there. The only thing I think I'm going to be leaving off, probably starting in the next week or two, is all of the whip info, because as I get that spreadsheet all populated, I'll just have a link to that spreadsheet. So if you want to see what fabric or floss or what the hashtags are for a particular whip I show, you can just go and you'll actually get to see all of them. So this week I will have the link to that spreadsheet and I will have all the information for the whips. But never fear, I am here to help you shop and find fantastic floss tubers. So those will always be there. Those things will always be there. The only thing that will go away in the next few weeks is all of the whip info. So let's talk about whips. Was that all I had? Oh, journal. I'm looking at my Q&A stuff. I love all of your comments. Thank you so much. I always go through and read all of them. I comment on as many as I can. I had talked about a stitchy journal last time and said that I was maybe starting to lean towards doing a stitchy journal for small finishes like No New World. And you guys are all just so amazing and had wonderful ideas of things that you're already doing. Jessie says she does a digital journal where she takes pictures and does it all digitally and writes up, you know, why she stitched it and all the information about it. And I thought that was a fantastic idea, especially for all those gift things that we give away, that we would still have a record of all of our stitching and why we stitched it and who we gave it to. So I love the idea of a digital journal and very well maybe incorporating that because that's a fantastic idea. Mandy, who has a floss tube as well, and I'll link her below, she mentioned, and she shows in one of her recent floss tubes, I think not her most recent, but the one before that, that she's doing a journal, but wanted it a little bigger than those smaller traveler type journals that Michelle Bendy Stitchy uses. So she went and got like a spiral bound, like a bigger spiral bound, like this is what it's like, a spiral bound artist sketchbook, and uses that. And that would be great too. And then you could fit some of those more medium-sized projects even in it, or have more room to write. I thought that was a fantastic idea. And then Hillary mentioned that she uses like scrapbooks, and that was like a little lightning bolt to my brain, because many moons ago I was a creative memories consultant, and I still have some supplies in the back of a closet somewhere that I'm going to have to dig out, because one of my kind of hesitations about a journal was that as you put stuff in it, it's going to get really fat and not sit like a book, and that would really maybe limit you to how much you could put in there, or it would just get really like, because I would want to shove all kinds of stuff in there. With the Creative Memories scrapbooks, they had this like strap binding so that you could expand it and it would still close and open up and lay flat. So I need to see, so that might be the way I go, is like an 8. They had like an 8 by 10 or size. I'm going to see if I still have some of that back in the depths of a closet. There's a couple boxes of scrapbook supplies. I have to dig them out and find them. So thank you all for the amazing ideas on a journal. I think I'm now sold on the journal idea. I just need to, I'm going to pull out the scrapbook stuff, and I also really like the idea of a digital journal, or maybe just taking pictures, including pictures of the things I give away as gifts. So, all right, we've been chatting long enough. It is time to see some stitching. Yes, time to see some stitching. First things first, full coverage piece for this week was Farewell to Anger. Charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm doing just the regular version. It's not max color, it's not a mini, it's not a super size. And true to form this week, or for this month, look at this, I still have strings everywhere. I didn't get a whole lot of progress, but I did get some. So I started back up here and started working my way down that diagonal. This has been the month of not a lot of progress on full coverage pieces. I'm not stitching on them every day like I typically do. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm just getting tired, or I am very motivated to be finishing some things this month. So I think that that's okay, because I'm just motivated to finish some things. I got very into the hashtag get it over and finishes. So I did get some progress. It's not a lot. I think it's like 300 stitches. However, it is informing my plans a little bit for November. So we'll talk about plans. I definitely have some plans for how stitching is going to look in November. So that was full coverage. The other thing that I did work on every day, which also I think might be the reason that this has moved, that the other full coverage has moved off to the back a little bit. Did I bring my phone over? Doesn't look like I did. You'll have to check my Instagram. So this, what I worked on every day is Hello Dear, and this is the total blurred out version. Part 3 came out yesterday, and I had posted my current progress on Instagram along with a image of what parts 1, 2, and 3 all together look like. So you can check that out on Instagram. I'm 2 Martini Stitcher there as well. I'm not caught up, but I am well into part 2. So part 3 has released. I'm well into part 2, and I have reached the top of the design. I much prefer to stitch top down. And so when part 2 came out and the top was there, I kind of worked my way up to the top, and now I'm going to work my way down, because there's more part 2 here and a little over here, and then part 3 comes around the other side of the tree. It has the most adorable little bunny with a like flower bow in her ear. So cute. So, but I'm getting good progress on this. That little chipmunky squirrel guy is almost done, and there's more frosty leaves, a poinsettia, a candy cane. It's just all very crisp and wintry, and I love these blue leaves. They make me think that they're like covered in frost. Like right now in the mornings, everything's very frosty at our house, and they just remind me of like frosty leaves, a little snowflake. So this is still getting worked on every day, and we're part 3 of 5. So we're just chugging right along. This should finish up at the end of November. Is that right? End of November. So I'm just gonna keep working on that every day, and it's a fun stitch. That was sent to me by Sally of Caterpillar Cross Stitch as a full kit. So I'm using all of the kit floss and fabrics. It's a 16 count white Aida, and it's DMC. So you can either get a kit from her, or you can get just the PDF patterns. You can get the patterns released to you just as PDFs and kit it up yourself. And I have a code for that too. So that code will be down below. I'm pretty sure it's Martini 10. And it's good on either the kit or PDF version of Hello Dear. So come stitch along with us, because it's going to be going on for a little while, and it's so cute. I'm so excited to see her spring and summer versions as well, because I did Hello Pumpkin, and she said it's going to be a whole series. You know, I'm a sucker for a series. Okay, so last I saw you last week, I was working on Scattered Pumpkins as my next projected finish for Get It Over, and I worked on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, and I finished it. It's not a fully finish. I mean, maybe. I'm hoping maybe the weekend after the election I can do some more FFOing. It's not going to happen this weekend because I'm going to be very busy text banking and working to get out the vote, but maybe the weekend after the election I'll do some more FFOing, and this one will get done. But I got the buttons on and everything, so the Aida is so ratty. This is 11 count Aida that I Rit dyed myself. So the chart, which is just this one piece, the chart's on the back of it. So I tried to keep it nice, but it's a little bent up. It's well up. That's okay. It's charted for 19 count linen, and at the time that I bought these charts, I have a whole bunch of these. You're going to see these in plans. I have a whole bunch of this series. I found a yard of 11 count Aida on Stash Unload, so that's pretty close. I mean, that's closest to the same count as 19 count linen over 2, which is what it's charted for, is 3 strands over 2 on 19 count. So I got a big old piece of white 11 count Aida, and I've been Rit dyeing them up for the different charts to match kind of the colors. So this called for dirty, but which I think is probably just a brown, but I went by the picture and I think I got pretty close, right? That's not bad. And the buttons seem to fit on there fine on this 11 count, which made me pleased, because that's why I wanted to stick to about the same size, because these all have buttons, and I have the button pack for all of them. But look at all these cute little buttons. I think my favorite is this little spider guy, and then you stitch him on like the legs. You stitch the legs to stitch the button on. How cute is that? So Scatter Pumpkins is done, and I think that I have something that I can finish these on, because my plan is to flat finish these all, maybe with a little fabric, and then magnet them to some type of hanging thing so that I can switch them in and out. But Scatter Pumpkins is done. Yay, check, hashtag Get It Over. And now all of these threads can go back into stash. I did not use all called for. I used some called for, some of the DMC conversion, and some I just picked what I had for my stash that I thought looked good, and all that information will be in the description box. All right, so that is Scatter Pumpkins. That was in an Easter bag because that's the bag I had. But now this is going to go over in the pile to put everything away. Yay! All right, once I had that finish under my belt, I felt like that was my fifth finish for the month. That was my fourth or fifth finish for the month. So I felt like I can have a new start, and I had been itching. Y'all know I had been itching to start Modern Folk Embroideries, the Zimmerman coverlet. I'm not going to stitch it the full thing. So it is charted like just from here up is what's charted. And then the preview shows it stitched 3 times. So you could stitch it once, you could stitch it 3 times, you could stitch it however you want. I am going to be doing this center motif, not the little hearts or these little guys, but this part here is going to be the top of a drum, and then the side border is going to be around the side of the drum. So I needed to dust off my geometry skills. I mean, luckily the way this is charted and it's a repeat, I think is what made it work out really well for this. So you guys can see, I mean, I dusted off my geometry skills to figure out the circumference of the drum, the circumference of a cylinder. And I think I have it down. I'm going to do this as the center motif, which will be on my fabric. I am using a 36 count color and cotton, 36 count color and cotton, and this is the August 2020 Fabric of the Month Club. It's not named, it was like a special edition. So this is the fabric I'm using. So on 36 count fabric, that center motif is going to be 7.5 inches each direction, like kind of square, except I'm going to go around in a circle around it. So I figure with a little bit of margin around there, I went with 8 inches. So I said the top of my drum is going to be 8 inches, which meant the circumference was going to be a hair over 25 inches, which will be almost exactly 3 repeats. So it's going to be 3 repeats plus a little bit where it can come together. So I think 3 repeats of the border. So I will do like this whole side border, and I'm going to do these little Quaker stars, and then that's what I'm going to do. And then hopefully it'll come around and meet, and then this is going to fit right on top, I believe. This is what I believe is, hopefully it's correct. So I got to start on it. That means also 25 inches, that it is going to take the side of the drum is going to take almost this entire fat quarter. This is going to be a huge drum, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the huge drum. So I got started, and I decided to start with the center motif. You'll see I don't have much margin here, and that's because I don't. Like, I'm going to need this whole, it's going to be a huge drum. But there is my start on the Zimmerman coverlet. I am stitching it in this gorgeous Gloriana silk in rosewood. And there is my start on that center motif, which will be the top of my drum. I really hope my math's correct, y'all. And God help my finisher, because I will absolutely be sending this out to be finished. And she's probably gonna be like, you left me almost no margin. I'll say, I know, sorry. She's fantastic. It'll be fine. You ready, Jolyn? You're gonna be finishing that in like 3 years when I finish stitching it. So that was my start on the Zimmerman coverlet. I'm super excited to have that started. It's going to be gorgeous and enormous, and I'm very excited. Okay, so I started that on Thursday. Then on Friday, one of my whips had a birthday, and all my whips get stitched on, sometimes slightly around their birthday. So Friday, the whip that had its birthday was Turkey Bay, Plum Street Samplers Turkey Bay. And you know, I think it probably freaks some of you out that this had its first birthday, especially when you see how much stitching is on it. But for me, it's fine. I love this design. I'll be excited when it's done, and in the meantime, I just keep stitching on it. I mean, because I started this clearly a year ago. I think it's maybe only been stitched on for 4 days, maybe 5. But here is where I got to on it. So Turkey Bay. So this time I stitched this little pomegranate flower and this flower and the stem, and I put in some of these little green stems and started the top of his hat. So that's Turkey Bay. It got a little bit of work on Friday. I love it, love it, love it. This color is Cinnamon Toast by Classic Colorworks, and it's fantastic. So that's Turkey Bay. It got a little bit of work, and now it goes back until the next time it comes out for whatever reason. Probably a wheel spin. There's going to be wheel spinning next month. Are you excited? I'm excited. All right. And then Saturday was a big stitching day. I actually took the day mostly off from text banking because it was the inaugural Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, which is the retreat put on by Acorns and Threads. Yay! So I've shown you all the package I got with the projects in it. You're going to see those. But the first thing I stitched on during the Stitch Summit was Duke Clover, because it was the 24th and I work on Duke Clover on the 24th. So I pulled out Duke Clover for kind of the first half of the Stitch Summit, the little retreat. It was supposed to be in person in September. That got canceled obviously earlier in the year, and then due to wildfires, it had to be pushed a month. So we had a virtual Zoom retreat, and it was fantastic. Of course, it would have been better in person, but it was still really fun to see a lot of familiar faces and new faces on the Zoom. And the two designers for the retreat were Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery and Paulette Stewart of Plum Street Samplers. Love them both so much. And so it was really it was so fun to have them on Zoom and get to ask them lots of questions, and they were so gracious with their time. It was fantastic. So I stitched on Duke Clover the first part of the day. This was my birthday start. I work on it on the 24th of the month, and this is where I am on Duke Clover. So I was working still in this kind of bigger motif in the center. I got, you see, I know I got this done. I got this done. One of these, I think, got put in. I think one of them I already had, but the other one I didn't. And this, I bought the kit, and I swapped out the fabric just because the fabric that it came with there was enough margin, but it was a little tighter than I would have liked. I think like a ivory linen came with it, and I switched it out for flax, platinum, one of the two. It'll say down below. It'll say down below what it is. This is either flax or platinum. I feel like flax, but what do I know? They're pretty similar. But I am using all of the kit threads. So Owl Forest has beautiful variegated flosses, and they come with these little bobbins that have the symbol already on them. There's also some Kryneck that's coming unraveled in the design. You can see I have already put some in. The keys are Kryneck. So that's my progress on Duke Clover. Love it. Love that design, and I really like their kits. I would buy another kit from them in a heartbeat. So that's Duke Clover that I did on the first half of the day. The first thing we got to do when we opened our package, or the first thing we got to do was open our package. And I should have brought down my name tag, because Acorns and Threads, the first time you come to their retreat, they give you this beautiful name tag that's magnet, it's reusable, and it's fabric, and it has a little margin at the bottom. And then they give you a little charm for that retreat that they're all different, and you can sew them on. So as you go to each retreat, you can have a little collection on your name tag. So nice. I should have brought that down. I didn't think about it. So we got projects that are exclusive to the retreat. Probably, you guys know the deal, probably for like a year. So these charts from both Heartstring Samplery and Plum Street Samplers right now were only for the retreat attendees, but next it's typically a year. So I would expect to see these released next November-ish, would be my guess. So we got 2 charts from Beth Twist and one big beautiful chart from Paulette Stewart of Plum Street Samplers, all totally kitted up. And I love them all. I'll show you the ones from Beth. You know what? I might as well just show them now. I'll show them now. I'll show them now, and then I'll show you the Plum Street Sampler, because that's the one that I started. All right, so we got 2, and it's kitted up in a project bag because it kind of matches, and I feel like this all says like be prayerful, be respectful, be positive, let it be. And to me, this is so very Beth Twist. One, she's a beekeeper, and you'll see in a second that the project kind of matches. And also, these things are what I think of when I think of Beth. Like positive, happy, grateful, honest. Like that's what I think of when I think of Beth. So this is the perfect bag. So even though I haven't started it, these get a project bag. Okay, so this was the bigger chart, and it is called Until We Meet Again, because that was the theme actually for the retreat. It was originally supposed to be something about gathering together or being together, but since we couldn't be together, they switched up the theme to Until We Meet Again. So that is this one. And the beauty of this is all of these flowers and butterflies and insects are things that Beth said you would see in her backyard in September. So, and she even gave us a guide of what they all are. Isn't that's so clever? She's a genius. So we got this one all kitted up with the graham cracker fabric. This is, I think, tea set. Is that what it is? Tea set. So this is Teresa Vinette, Kitten Stitcher. Her son dyes linen, and they're called graham cracker fabrics. And this is tea set, which is like the most gorgeous, like greenish gray. I mean, that's fantastic. Fantastic. So we got the linen and all of the, which I have as like a mess in here. Good heavens. I need to get a ring on these. I just tossed them in there. All of the called for Weeks Dye Works. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so that was the first project from Beth. And then she also gave us this adorable pincushion, My Wish for You. Is May All Your Dreams Come True. And she included the linen and the backing fabric and this beautiful counting pin she made. And it's the same, the flosses for this are in the bigger one as well. So we have all the floss to do this beautiful little pin cushion. And this, it was a hard call between starting this and starting the Plum Street. So those were the projects we got from Heartstring Samplery. Love them. I feel like one of those will be a Mania start next year, I think. Because if I start it in May, we might be getting to the point where we can start thinking about meeting up again until we meet again. Okay, and then this, do I have this one? Yes, was the Plum Street sampler and the one that I started. So this is now a whip, and it is called the Gather In. See, gather with grateful hearts. So this just, I think the autumn feel of this just sucked me in. And this, as soon as I saw it, I thought cinnamon stars. And I have cinnamon stars as a whip, and how beautiful would these two be framed up together next to each other? Which means I gotta stitch them both. But this is amazing. That is a big old barn and a whole lot of grass. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be doing that grass half stitch. That, or maybe satin stitch. I don't know. We'll see. Satin stitch isn't really faster, is it? I don't know. Maybe I'll pull a Michelle Bendy and throw some smearing crosses in there to break it up. I don't know, but this is amazing. So this is also on graham cracker fabric on graham cracker. So it's on graham cracker, and then we got all the flosses. So there's some DMC and some Weeks Dye Works. We got all the DMC and the Weeks. So here's the Weeks. It takes several skeins of a couple colors, and then all the DMC. I just sat while everybody was chatting and bobbinated up the DMC, and then we also got this little bit of a card, I think for the colors that took way less than a skein. So, and these I put in this little, this is from Bags Plus. So, but it's, I think she calls it a wallet. And I love it because it ties up. And then it goes so nicely in here. I was thinking about almost bobbinating these up too, to fit in here. Because how many are there? 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, I could totally fit those in here too. I might bobbinate those. We'll see. Or I'll leave them. But I love this style. I might need to get some more of this kind of wallet style, because it's so nice because it fits both. See, I have DMC on the bobbins, and then I just stick the overdyes in there. So I really like that from Bags Plus. I heard Michelle say that she has a big old box from Crane and is going to be doing a live sale here soon. So maybe she has some of those in her box. That would be great. Okay, so graham cracker fabrics, called for flosses, and this is where I got to. So I started gather, and then down on this first little thing. I mean, this is not going to be, what is the stitch count on this? Where does it say? Where does it say? No, it's on here. Oh, 196 by 145 by 149. I mean, it's not, when you look at the fabric, and it's a, like you can see she gave us a nice cut with good margins. It's so it doesn't look that huge. That's going to be a lot of stitching. This falls into what I am classifying as a medium project, but that's going to be a lot of stitching. You know what? Now that I think about it, I should probably, I feel pretty good about my measurements, but maybe I should go do the letters all the way across, gather with grateful hearts to make sure before I get too far into this and realize it won't fit. But so this is Graham Cracker from Graham Cracker Fabrics, and I love it. It's beautiful. Just a little bit of nice, like grungy grunge. It's gonna be perfect. So that was my start on Saturday during the Stitch Summit. Love it, love it, love it. All right. And then on Sunday, I went back to Get It Over. There was a little bit of a departure there from the Get It Over with Turkey Bay and Duke Clover and Retreat. But after finishing Scatter Pumpkins, I got to pick up my next one that I thought was close to a finish, and I went with Strutting Tom because it's almost November. It's prime turkey stitching season. This is it. I know you all wait for Halloween stitching, and I like Halloween and spooky stuff. I don't decorate a lot for Halloween, but I love all that. But for me, turkey stitching season is where it's at. Turkey stitching season. And this guy's magnificent. I mean, he's just magnificent. I bought this. This was a Nashville release. I bought the limited edition kit. So it has all the, you can kind of see, it came with all of the finishing stuffs to finish him like this. All the Lady Dot finishing stuff. And it came with the fabric and the overdyed flosses. And I just had to get the DMC. I had worked on this like a couple days. It was a Mania start. I think I had worked on it one other day after Mania. This was such an addictive stitch. It's another reason that the full coverage did not get much touching. I didn't stitch on it at all the last couple nights because boom, I finished him. I could not put this down once I started. So when I started, I had his like checkered body and a tiny little bit of this gray. So I did all the rest of his head and gray, and I just finished everything else out. Did his rump, did his back feathers, these tall feathers, his feet. Done. This is such... Stephanie is a genius. I mean, look at him. Look at him. I did his little rump here. That's Weeks Dye Work Cinnamon Twist, and I didn't want it to be stripey, so I stitched it around and around and around, and I love how the variegation came out. Love it. So this is another one. I have all the stuff to FFO it. So hopefully this and Scattered Pumpkins will get done in a couple weeks because I have everything. There's no excuses. No excuses. There's probably even directions in there on how to finish it. So Strutting Tom is done, which means I need to take a look in my extensive collection of turkey patterns and start another turkey because it is turkey stitching season. I know I have Turkey Bay, but the turkeys are not the focal point of Turkey Bay. So, I mean, they count. They're adorable. They're paddling around in the water. I'm not even sure turkeys can really swim, but I need to start another piece where the turkey is the focus. Okay, so that is all of my stitching whips. So now, this evening when I sit down to stitch, I'm going to, I really thought, what have I finished? I finished Fancy Blacket. I finished, let's look at all the things that I have finished. I finished Fancy Blacket this month. And Autumn Pennies. So I finished Fancy Blacket, Autumn Pennies, No New Worlds was a start and finish. Alan Batts was a start and finish. Home of a Needleworker, Scatter Pumpkins. This is a lot of finishes, and now Strutting Tom. So we're kind of getting down to like, those were all the things that I really had put a couple other things aside that maybe I could finish those up in a day or two. So I'm going to have to take a look and see what I think I might pick up next, because I still have Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday's the 1st, but I'm going to kind of bleed over into November, just a day. So I've got 3 or 4 days to maybe eke in one more finish and to get it over. So I'll have to look and see what that is. Okay, I'm not ready to move into plans just quite yet. We're getting close because I want to show you my knitting whips. So the first thing I worked on last week, knitting wise, was, did I bring over? Yes, I did. The shawl that I am doing for my grandmother for Christmas, and this is the Blue Jean Saturday shawl by OC Knit Designs. It's black and white, but you can see what it's going to look like. And I am knitting this in this Malabrigo fingering weight in the colorway Jupiter. And my ball is a mess. It's a mess. I'm not ever going to pull from the center of a ball again. This yarn is also kind of sticky. I would call it sticky, where it likes to grab onto itself. So it probably was not the best thing to do. See, I'm new. I'm learning. No more pulling from the center because it kind of grabs on and pulls more out. So yes, my yarn ball looks a mess, but it is fingering weight Malabrigo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, in Jupiter. It's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful yarn. It's a beautiful color. No more center pull balls. Pull from the outside. Okay, so so here is where my progress was when I showed it last week. It was right here, and I was starting this next lace section, and I finished that whole lace section, and this one came out exactly right. Yay! This one I did correctly, and I think it looks so much better than this one down here. It's hard to see up against the red wall. Here, I'll get up close so you guys can kind of, maybe you can kind of see. I don't know the best way to show knitting. So you can see this lace here. It didn't quite go in a diagonal. I made a mistake and I decided to leave it because I had the right number of stitches on the needle. But this one came out just right. And I don't know if it's just because it's longer or because I did it right. It all seems to like lay better. I mean, this I think will block out just fine. All of you knitters who watch have already taught me that'll block out. Already taught me that. So, but this one came out just perfect. This lace section is so fun to knit. Already addicted to lace, guys. Already addicted to lace, y'all. So I did that, and now I'm ready to move on to the next garter section. So I need to put another lifeline in. And so in case I screw up, I can pull back just right to where the top where I know it's correct. So I'm going to put another lifeline in, and I pulled out the one that was down here and put it in up here. That's okay, right? Because I know this is all correct, so I don't need this lifeline down here anymore, right? So I'm going to pull this out and use the same yarn, I think, if it's long enough, now that I think about it, if it's long enough to go up here. And then I'll do the garter section. So this is what's up next for knitting as well. Because I did that lace section and then I moved over to another project and knit the rest of the week on my honey cowl. So this one. So I'm doing the honey cowl. And for this one, I am using the, see, I'm pulling from the outside. Even at that, I still had a piece fall out from the bottom. Whatever. I'm clearly not, maybe not winding it exactly correctly. I don't know. But I'm pulling from the outside and it's much better. This is from Treehouse Knits. It is their September monthly mystery colorway. I love it. So it doesn't have a name. That's what it is. And I am knitting this on size 8 needles. Size 8 32-inch circular needles. And let me find. Okay, there we go. So this is where I was right here when I showed you last week, and I've done all of this, which doesn't really look like maybe that much, except that there's 200 stitches on the needles. So each round takes me a while, but this is my first project in the round, and it's really fun to just go round and round and round and round. I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's coming out just amazing. So I think I'm about halfway. I think I am. I did weigh the yarn and do a round of knit, and then weighed it again. So I knew how much each round took. So I leave enough to do the last little bit. Because there's like 3 or 4 rows of just knit at the beginning and at the end. So I know how much I need to leave. And in the meantime, I just keep going round and round and round on my honey cowl. And it is so pretty. I love this yarn. And it's going to be gorgeous when it's all done. Hopefully soon. I mean, hopefully that'll only take a few more weeks. I am going to work on the next section. I want to get the whole next garter section done on my grandmother's, and then I'll switch back to this for the balance of the week until we meet again. So those are the knitting works in progress. And now we're on to plans, because it's almost November. When I see you next, it will be November. Nuts. That's nuts. So I think last week we had talked a little bit about how much I'm enjoying finishing everything up, but I do feel like my bigger projects are not getting any attention. And if I keep just finishing up whatever's closest to a finish, eventually I'm gonna have nothing but great big projects left. I mean, you can always start new stuff, but I think in November to get a little better of a mix. And Annie, Joyfield Stitcher, and I were chatting a little bit about it, and she has, watch her latest video. She has lots of plans. She has lots of fun plans, and my plans are inspired by Annie, but not exactly the same. So I just started my WIP spreadsheet, and I went and I added stitch count. I think I have stitch count for almost all of them. A few of them I didn't have like super close access to pick them up, but I knew about where they would fall. So I added stitch count, and then I added a column for size. And I'm going with fairly basic broad categories. I'm going with small, medium, large, full coverage. So I have 2 full coverage pieces. Anything, I'm kind of going Stitch from Stash-ish. So if you're familiar with Stitch from Stash, if you're not, I'll link the group below. It's a great way to kind of help control the spending. I did join up again for the second half, and I think somewhere in sampler September, I didn't get very far before I've declared bankruptcy again, because I got tired of keeping track of it. That's terrible. That's terrible. I knew that I was going to be very much in the red, and I just got tired of keeping track of it. I'll try again in January. I do like keeping that spreadsheet and thinking about it, because it makes me think twice about purchases. And that's where I sometimes get hung up. Anyhow, in Stitch from Stash, you set yourself a budget and you try not to go over that budget of purchasing cross-stitch supplies. You get credit for finishes. And the way they calculate credit is, let's say we'll take this chart for example. This is 101 by 85. So you add 101 plus 85, divide that by 2, and that gives you, it squares up the stitch count. Okay, so this would be under 100 by 100 because it's not over 200 if you add 101. 186 divided in half. So anything that is under 100 by 100, I'm counting as a small. 101 to 200 stitches square is a medium. And yes, some of those medium projects are getting kind of big-ish, but I wanted to keep fairly broad categories. Anything over 200 stitches square is a large, unless it's full coverage, in which case it's full coverage and is a separate rotation. So I figured everything out and I made 3 decision wheels on my tablet with one for all the smalls, one for the mediums, one for the larges. Are you with me so far? You're with me. Do you want to know how many of each I have? Someone somewhere had mentioned that they were excited to hear how many of what size I have. Okay. So I have pulled strutting tom off of it, but I didn't include it in the count. So this is how many of each of those projects I have. It's not necessarily what's on the wheel. I have 14 small projects, 27 mediums, and 17 large. I didn't add that up. It's got to be a little less than 50 or a little less than 60. I'm not doing that math in my head. So they aren't all on the wheel because I only put ones on, I put all of those on their respective wheels unless it gets a designated day. So things like Duke Clover, Letters for Mom, Cardinal Points did not go on the wheel because those come out on their designated day and get stitched on their designated day. So this is my plan for November. And for who knows how long. If I really like this, this might be, until I decide to switch it up again. So I have a wheel. I will also say I did sometimes fudge things into different categories. So I think I had something that was 198 square that I pushed up into large because it felt like a large project to me. And I also had things that were mediums that were like 108 or 110, but knowing how much I already had stitched on them, I felt like what was left put it into a small category. So it was not super hard and fast. There were times I made a judgment call onto whether things went into a small or medium or large category. Those are all on the wheel. Next week, when I come back and we visit again next week, I am going to spin each of the wheels. The small project will get 1 day of work on it. Just one, but it's small. That's fine. It's going to get 1 day. The medium project will get 2 days of work on it. I know I'm showing 3 fingers because that's total of how many days in the week. The medium project will get 2 days of work, and then the large one will get 3 days. So that's 6 of my 7 days of the week. And I went with that because I honestly do not have the attention span to work on something for more than 3 days in most cases. After 3 days of working on something, I'm ready to move on to a different project, to be honest. So the large ones, we're going to get 3 days. The mediums get 2, and that means the smalls just get 1. And I'm okay with that. I could give the smalls 2 days. I thought about that. But I like having a day of wiggle room in there. So that 6 of 7 days are going to be working on things off the whip wheel, as well as putting a length of thread in Hello Dear, as well as trying to work on a little bit on the full coverage project. So the extra day in the week, if my small project is really close to a finish and another day would finish it off, I have the wiggle room to do that. If I decide I want to take a day and just really focus on my full coverage project that week, I can do that too, because I'm feeling kind of bad. They're not getting a lot of stitching. If I want to have a new start, it can go on that day. So that, and then also I'm going to have projects that have a birthday, or it's their regular day to get worked on, or. Plans are meant to be fudged and squished and changed. But I thought that this would give me a nice variety of projects every week to pick from, and everything will get touched a little bit and it'll be a little more random. I don't know. I think it'll be fun. What do y'all think? Think it'll be fun? I'm excited. So that's why I said Sunday, even though it's the first, will kind of be a holdover on Get It Over, because then I will be back on November 2nd and we will spin some wheels. Yay! I told you this was a long one and to settle in. I felt like I had a lot to talk about today, but we're getting close. Mail. I had a little bit of happy mail and a little bit of haul this week. Not a lot, but we'll see what's in the bag. Okay, so the first piece of happy mail I got was this adorable Halloween postcard. And I'm not gonna lie, it took me a second to be like, this is a postcard. It's a Halloween postcard. It's from Bert and Katie. It's from Park Harper Bart. Bert. Did I just say Bert? It is now. It was not happy hour when I started. It is now. I think it's time for a drink. This is from Bart and Katie, from Park Harper Bart and his lovely wife Katie. They sent out Halloween postcards. I love that. I'm going to have to assume that they do not send Christmas cards. Maybe they do. That would be super ambitious. I can't get one holiday card out a year, much less two. If they send out both, that's amazing. But I love the idea of Halloween cards. That's so fantastic. So I got this adorable with a sweet note on the back card from Bart. Oh, Halloween, Bart. Check out his Instagram. He put up a free little pattern today, that says spoopy. I might try to fit that in too. Maybe that's what I'll do Sunday. We'll see. I might try to get that one done too. Check out his Instagram, Park Harper Bart. He's a treasure. Okay. So, and his wife Katie does some phenomenal stitching too. I always love when she's on there, Flosstube. The other happy mail I got was from Sylvia Ward of S. Ward Designs. I will link her below on Etsy. And she had sent me some project tracker cards that she was making up and wanted to kind of see what I thought of them. And because she has just started this little Etsy business. And so she sent me some of her project tracker cards. And I love them. These are great. They remind me quite a bit of Annie Joydfield Stitcher's whip cards that I have and use. But these are 3 years. So you can see this is 2020 to 2022. So there's one calendar, and they're nice heavyweight cards, and then there's the next 2 years on the back. What I really like about these, I can stick these in the project bags with the project. I have Annie's whip cards in my planner, which I really like, and I go through and I update them, and hers are a little different. There's a place for a picture and everything. But these could go right in. It has just start date, finish date, and number of days. Because I am interested to see like things like Turkey Bay. I mean, I should go look. There's probably a whip card. But I'm curious as to how many days I've actually even worked on that. Because I feel like it's probably not more than 4 days. So sometimes you feel like these whips are sitting around forever, but you don't really work on them that much. Also, larger projects absolutely could take me 3 years. I mean, let's face it, some of these are going to maybe even take more than 3 years, but I really like these. She has them already for 2020 to 2022, and she also has ones that are 2021 to 2023. So you can get those, and I like that they're not just cross stitch. Like, it does say designer and fabric, but you could easily, that could easily be yarn if you're knitting. These would be great for diamond painting. You could use these for all kinds of crafts. Quilts, if you're wondering how, you know, how many days you spend on a quilt. So now I'm going to throw, now that I've shown you these, I'm going to throw a couple in my newest starts. So I'm a fan. I'm going to get some more. Honestly, I'll use Annie's too, because there's a place to put pictures on it. And for smaller projects that are just a year, but for longer term projects, that's fantastic. So that's S Ward Designs. S Ward Designs, I'll link her below. And you know me, anything that's planny, is that a word? Anything you can use to plan and organize your stitching, I'm a fan. I like the planning and organizing of stitching. Okay, so that was Happy Mail haul. I got the latest Just Cross Stitch magazine in the mail. This is December 2020. Let me know if you want to flip through of this. I think Caroline Zook has done one. So go watch Caroline Zook's. I'm almost positive that she has. I will show you the couple things that I did not find a ton of stuff in here that I would stitch. However, a couple things I will show you. I'll show you just a couple things real quick. This one, Autumn Meditation, that is Carolyn Manning. So I have her designs are amazing. Zakia, I know, has at least a couple started. I know there's quite a few stitch alongs. They're amazing. I have resisted so far because they're not small, they're full coverage. This is more manageable. It is 108 by 108 and not full coverage, but beautiful. That is beautiful. So if you've been wanting to get into a Carolyn Manning design, that would be a very approachable way to do it, I believe. These, they show them on tea towels. You wouldn't have to do them on tea towels, but these little colorful trees I thought were cute. They're not, who are these by? Sharon Pope. They're kind of Satsuma Street-ish to me. But I thought those were cute. I don't know that I would make tea towels, but this is what I'm going to stitch out of this. So it had the 2020 Christman Ornament Design Contest winners. So they must do a design contest with their, you know, just people who read the magazine. I'm assuming anyone can submit for this. And then they have prizes and they publish the ones that they win. This one right here. And this, Caitlin, that's Madam Ice. That's Kate, Madam Ice, on Flosstube. So if you're not watching her, you should check her out. I adore her videos, and she does do some designing, just a little bit. She has an Etsy shop, but she has some cute stuff. But this little snowman blowing on his hot cocoa, I'm assuming it's hot cocoa. I mean, it could be coffee or tea, but I would think a snowman drinks hot cocoa with marshmallows, right? This is just adorable. So that I'm definitely stitching. I also did like this Meet Me Under the Mistletoe. So those were the two that I think I'm going to stitch up at some point. I don't think I'm a newer subscriber to Just Cross Stitch, and I don't think I realized it was every other month. I was surprised when this showed up that it looked so Christmassy. There are some like Thanksgiving autumn designs, but it's December 2020. The cardinals are pretty. I mean, the cardinals are pretty. And if I wanted to do them, I could do them on this fabric, which I got my fabric of the month from Bee Stitch Me. I get a 32 count linen in the neutral colorway. So if you get the neutral colorway from Bee Stitch Me and you've managed to avoid all spoilers up to this point and yours has not come yet, look away. This is amazing. It's called Scotsman. and check that out. Oh, that is good. That's really good. That's a fantastic piece of fabric. Fantastic. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's just beautiful. Just beautiful. And I know you're thinking, Erin, you get the neutral. No, to me that totally is. I actually think with Be Stitch Me, if you look at her color, I think a lot of it is just how like modeled it is a little bit. But to me, this could absolutely be a neutral. That is just a beautiful, beautiful color. And I feel like her neutrals are just more like, I mean, there's definitely some variation in it if you look, but it definitely lends itself more to being like a background. It's beautiful. Her linens are fantastic. Fantastic. So that's Be Stitch Me. I'll link her Facebook group and her website below. And I have a web order that I got a shipping notification on. So hopefully I'll see that next week. It is a piece I ordered as a possible contender for a pandemic. And when it comes, I need to decide and order that fabric from her stat, so that I'm ready for new year, new start on pandemic. Okay, so that's all the mail. And so that leaves us just with giveaway. Last week, I was giving away, I don't want to show the chart. I was giving away this little chart by Amy Brecken. It came in my October So Much to Love bag last year, and it is called Harvest Moon Frost Soon. Love those little pumpkins, so cute. So I was giving this away. I told you to tell me something about pumpkins. And Donna H won. Yay, Donna! You filled out my Google form. If you're new here, if you want to win any of my giveaways, you must fill out the Happy Mail Google form that is linked at the very top of the description box. So in all honesty, the first person who won this on the random YouTube comment picker hadn't filled out the form. If I don't have your address, I can't send you goodies. So Donna H won. Thank you, Donna. Okay, so this week's giveaway. And my cat has chewed the bag. This is a used chart. And so if this is going to bother you, I would switch it out, but almost all of my bags are chewed up because that's what my cat does. He gets up in my basket, next to my basket of charts, and chews on them. So if that's going to bother you, don't enter the giveaway. But I'm going to be giving away this heartstring samplery. Since we were showing heartstring samplery, I thought this was going to be the perfect thing to give away. You might recognize this as the piece that I did for Annie for her birthday. So if you watch Annie Joyful Stitcher, you'll see I did up the piece in this colorway and mounted on the top of a box and sent it to her for her birthday. I've gotten quite a few emails because it didn't occur to me, now I know better. One, I should have sent this chart with her for her birthday. I should have sent this chart to her so she could stitch it up and send it along, but I didn't, so I have it and I'm giving it away. But I also didn't tell her what the chart was. Duh. And I've gotten quite a few emails this week saying, hey, what's that chart? What's the name of that piece that you stitched for Annie? So this is it. It is Heartstring Samplery, Friendship Pin Pillow, and Needle Book. So it shows two different colorways. And it's also charted to say both Always Your Friend, Sisters Are Forever, and Love My Mama. And there's a full alphabet in there too. So you can actually put whatever you want on there, but it's charted. I think all three of these are charted. I know At least 2 of them are. And there's instructions for making it a needle book or a pin pillow. I think it calls for 40 count. And I did it on 32, so it was a little bit big for a needle book or even a pin pillow. So this is the chart that I've gotten quite a few emails about. It is an older chart. I think it's 2011. And so my response on email was, this is it. I don't even know where I picked this up. I might have gotten it on at Acorns and Threads because they have a very large selection of heartstring samplery, because Beth's kind of local to us. She lives about an hour away from Acorns and Threads. I might have gotten it off Stash and Load. I don't even know where I picked this up. However, while I was on the Zoom retreat with Beth, I was able to ask her. She mentioned in the course of questions and chatting, she mentioned that none of her charts are retired. Like, she just doesn't, she uses a local printer, so she doesn't retire things the way that like Blackbird Designs does, right? Like, they use a big printer, they print a ton, when they're gone, they're gone. She uses a local printer and can do smaller batches. So she said none of her stuff is really retired. And so I was able to say, great, I know there's some interest in this older chart. What would be the best way for people to get their hands on it? And she said some of her things are not, because they're in an older format, are not in her Etsy shop or on her website. I think she has a website. And she said, like, this wouldn't be there. But she said any LNS that orders directly with her can just get it from her. So if you want this chart, I would say check with your LNS. If they don't have it or don't order directly from Heartstring Samplery, call Acorns and Threads. They can get you any Heartstring Samplery chart. They're fantastic to work with. Like, just give them a call. They'll get whatever you need. They are the most helpful, wonderful staff there. So I'm giving this away. If you want it, you can totally still get it. That was a long spiel about a giveaway, but I had quite a few emails about it, and I wanted you all to know. This was the chart I stitched for Annie. You can still get it from any LNS that orders directly from Beth. Or Beth Twist. Okay, so if you want to stitch this, just let me know you want to stitch, we'll say friendship. Use friendship anywhere in your comment. I am so eternally thankful for this community and this group of online stitchers, because I have made so many real, true friendships through Flosstube, which seems crazy, but it is real, true friendships. We check on each other. Many I've gotten to meet in person, some I have not, but I really, truly do consider you all friends. So use the word friendship. You can say, I want to stitch the friendship, and I will put you in the running to win this, but you have to fill out the form. Okay, I think that's it, which is good because this has been a long one. Thank you all for hanging in with me if you have. I know a lot of people peace out halfway through. That's fine. Doesn't hurt my feelings any. And so that's it. I hope you all have a good week. If you have not voted yet, you need to do that ASAP, especially if you requested any type of mail-in ballot. It is now time to drop that off in person or a ballot box. Do not put that thing in the mail. Don't put it in the mail. Find out how you can return it in person. In a lot of states, you can early vote in person. Even if you requested a mail-in ballot, you can take it with you and early vote in person. So please, please, please look up on like your state. I will link below a website where you can go get all the information for your state, your exact address. Please make sure you vote. that's all I have to say about that. It is scary important to vote. All right. This is the last week. Last week. So let's get out there and do the work and have some little stress release while stitching. And I will be back next Monday and we'll spin some wheels. Until then, cheers.